don't buy a German car. Don't you even think about a 7 Series, especially the older ones. Hey, don't even buy a new one. They're all just junk. Those are things that I heard just about a year ago. When I bought this car, people were telling me all the time, the German cars are not reliable and it's going to cost way more to fix it than it was to buy it. Well, here I am today, 1 year after all that. The car cost me $6,600 new, and it cost me about $2,400 in parts and service that was required when I bought it, that needed to get it up to spec. And then there was about $500 to $600 worth of damage throughout the course of the year. That really could happen to any car, it's not specific to this. But then really the wear and tear elements, what really cost, to drive it for this course was about $2,700. So we're going to show you all of that. We're going to talk about it in depth, show you kind of how I got to these numbers and what my repairs were and sort of what was involved with it, to give you an idea of what the true cost of ownership of a 2001 BMW 740iL is between 200 and 250,000 kilometers. I ended up paying roughly $6,600 with tax for my 7 Series. And there were some things wrong with it. If you watch some of the earlier videos, you'd know my instrument cluster, the pixels were not working. I had a hole in my driver's seat. The mirror on the passenger side did not dip when you'd go into reverse. The parking sensors, they weren't operational. And I also had a mass airflow sensor, check engine light, and a camshaft position sensor. So in order to do all that, including, because the original owner of this car had kids, so he had the rear airbags deactivated. So for me to do the airbags and the instrument cluster, that was $1,400 from a BMW dealership. Mass airflow sensor was about $141. The camshaft and park distance, those were parts that I purchased from BMW and did myself. That was $485 for both of those. The seat, which I got from a local BMW E38 enthusiast, he helped me install it, and I also purchased it from him. That was $175, and then the GPS also wasn't working with that mirror. He got me hooked up with the mirror in terms of installing it. So the mirror and GPS, that cost another $200. So if we add all of that up, the car cost me $2,405 essentially from purchase. So that was to get all of those things fixed up and working. So that was what it cost. So really, if you add it on, I know I paid $6,600 for it. Works out to be about $9,000 and change for what the car really should have been when I bought it, because the driver's seat really was wrecked. The navigation and music didn't work at all. Parking sensors, all those things that really the car needs to have, or the features of it, weren't working. So to get it all working, about $9,000, which is pretty good. If you take a look at the market today, for a relatively medium mileage car, especially in the States, they're running about $9,000. So if you're on a good day. So I mean, I paid a little bit more, but I personally like the car. Tons of features compared to some of the stock E38s. So money well spent. Now, we're going to be taking a look at the wear and tear stuff. Wear and tear is going to be happening no matter what you do. Maybe not as much if you got the service history for the car, but that's something that I did not get when I purchased this. So wear and tear items, over the course of the year, I did 2 oil changes on their own. One from a dealership in Oakville, and then the other one at a dealership in St. Catharines. So those 2 oil changes alone cost $425. I also had to buy parts. Now, again, older videos you've seen of mine, I was having issues with the engine. The check engine light was coming on and I didn't have a lot of power. So that required catalytic converters. Now, the shop that I went to told me it was the center cats, but I knew it was the one at the exhaust manifold. I was right, but I ended up having to buy 3 sets of cats. So all of those, plus the auxiliary fan, which I still need to have fixed, and the complete suspension refresh that I did, which include the front wishbones and the tie rods for the steering. Those parts cost $960, which I would do 10 more times. Absolutely great price for that. At the same time, I also did an inspection too, as it was due, so that cost me about $60. Brakes were definitely in need, and I needed to buy some parts for it too, because I've never done brakes before. I did the labor myself, so it worked out to be $405 for that. And then if I were to go do the rear brakes later on, it's going to cost about $200 to do that. Cat repair, they just did the one. That cost me $217. And then I did the third oil change for the course of the year. And they also did the suspension stuff, refreshed all of that. So that cost $675. So for all the wear and tear items, everything that needed to be done that obviously over time will wear out, cost me $2,743. And I really think that that is a very reasonable and accurate determination of how much this car could cost you over the course of a year. Now you can certainly save some of that cost yourself if you're able to do it on your own. You can save the labor. Now if you aren't able to do it yourself, whether it's beyond your skill level or beyond your ability based on your surroundings, for me I can't really lift the car up and do some of the work, then I would suggest finding a shop that specializes in European or German cars. They have a better idea of the problems that need to be done, but also I highly suggest joining a forum like Beamer forums and being able to ask questions there. Look through the database of problems that people have had, because these cars now are at the youngest 15 years old, so they are old. People have driven them, they know what the problems are. So you can save a lot of money too by being able to determine what your issues are before going into the shop, so that you can save some cash there. Now the third little thing that we're going to be talking about when it comes to how much it's cost me were unavoidable damage. And these are things that really could happen to anybody. Could have happened to your 1987 Honda Civic, could have happened to your 2017 Rolls-Royce. The problems are related to accidents, and it's not even an accident. It's not like somebody hit me, but there were problems that came up that were unavoidable. In May of 2015, I took a rock to the windshield and it cracked the front of it. And I kind of took me a little while to get it replaced. I got it replaced this past week, and it cost me $250. And it's a European set of glass. It's got the windshield wiper defroster at the bottom, and so far it looks like it's been installed great. It gives me a lot better visibility than it did the old one. So that's a great, not that anybody really wants to have to replace a windshield, but for $250 it was a good deal. Now I also had an issue when it came to the front of the car. I got hit by a tire that was flying on the highway, and it destroyed the front end of my car. Now the insurance company quoted me about $2,600 to repair it, and that would have been a new bumper and new fog lights and paint and everything from a body shop. I was able to get the bumper from a salvage yard. It wasn't in great shape, and it still doesn't look perfect, but it got the job done. That cost me $100, and I spent about $45 in paint in order to get that. And then I also had to buy fog lights, because one of them was destroyed when I got hit by the tire, and then somehow after I replaced it, the second one got cracked. So $60 for fog lights, $100 for the bumper, about $45 for paint, and then the windshield cost me $495. And then we're gonna just tack on an extra $100 for fun stuff that I bought. About, 8-9 months ago, you've seen a video, I got the cup holders for the front of the car. That cost me about $75, $85. It wasn't a repair, it was sort of a need in my case, but it was an add-on. So we're tacking that on as sort of a fun charge. And then I also got at a junkyard yesterday, I replaced the sunshade on the passenger side, which we're filming on, because there was a crack just at the top of where the clip is to hold it in. So that was broken. Wasn't like a huge problem, but it was a cheap one. And then they also had the car that was wrecked there was an individual 97 or 98, 99 something, but it had the wooden cigarette ashtrays for the back. So I picked those up. Those are normally on the 750s. I was really surprised to find it on a 740. So those are just fun little things that I added to the car. Adds about $100 to the price. And like I said, really, it works out to be a pretty affordable car when you think about it.
Being able to drive 40,000 kilometers in a year is a lot for any car, regardless of whether it's a BMW or an economy type car. At the end of the day, it's a lot of driving. Things are going to fall apart. Things are going to wear out. Brakes, suspension, all of those are meant to eventually wear down. Now you can certainly save some money if you're able to do the work yourself. Brakes took me about 2 hours to do the ones on the front, and that was without doing it ever in my life before. I also don't really have the appropriate venue to be able to repair my car, but I still managed to do it. A $12,400 total price tag from purchase till today really isn't that bad.
I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you found it informational. If you have any questions about it, please let us know below. Don't forget to like and share it, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this and plenty of other things. If you've got some recommendations as to what we'd like to do next, just shoot us a message. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook, or just let us know on the YouTube comments to tell us what you'd like to see next. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.